Hello my little storm clouds, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today I am working on one of the shops slash houses in my medieval town square. The clips you saw at the start might not exactly match what I'm doing right now, and that is because I've been having some trouble with my game. Basically what happened was I was building and then I was like, I'll make it a rental and make this house one unit, and my game kept lagging after I made it into a rental. And I'd accidentally deleted my landlord, which meant I couldn't change it back to a residential. So what I ended up having to do was save it to my library, and I'd already done all of the interior of this, but for some reason it didn't save and it was just going so weird. It was after the update, so I have a feeling something went wrong. It's a little bit of an issue. But I actually had to start a new save file, which is super annoying, but I've managed to save all of my other builds to the library and move them back into a new save file, so everything is now currently working. And I'm not going to set anything as a rental because it just seems to make my computer lag. If you want to make these rentals after the save file goes live, you can change it to that if you wish. But for now I'm just keeping it as a residential, but I don't know if I should change it to something else. Let me know. It could be a community law, I don't know, because I want Sims to live here. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So what I'm actually working on is a weapon shop as well as a secret magic shop. So here I am putting arrows in this bucket sort of thing. Well, it's actually a vase. But I ended up changing this because these Cupid bows that come from Debug aren't very good. They have the plastic backs, and even though I tried to put a feather over them, the plastic backs were so big that I couldn't get it to cover. So what I ended up doing is I went onto the gallery and I found a creator that made this like stall, and they'd set it as a room, so I brought it in because it looked so good. And what they used is cotton swabs and these feathers, and it looked fantastic. So when I did the build the second time around, because of the issues with the saving, I ended up doing that and it looked so much better. You will see it in a clip because I do a little bit of filming with the new version of the shop. But everything else is sort of similar, it's not exactly the same. This was also an idea from them, is using this table as a shield. They just turned it on its side and hid the back portion, and I was like, that's such a good idea because there's nothing else that looks like a shield. So I'm going to pop their name up on screen. It was just from the gallery, but it looked absolutely fantastic. They did such a good job. Oh, this was also another idea from them, is using the mannequins dressed up in the armour. And it just looked so good. So yeah, I did take a lot of inspiration from this person, but they did such a good job. Also, the bow that I put on that table to the side, which you can't see currently because I'm not facing the right way, keeps disappearing. Anything time it is clipped to something, so it actually like clips to the table, then I've used tool mod to like angle it so it looks like it is propped up. It kept deleting, so I will be going back in and adding it back in, but making sure it's not clipped to the table so it fully works. And again, in my second time round, I ended up making a rack for some of the weapons and placed some of the swords in there. I think the swords are from base game, I believe, but I ended up using other items as handles and doing stuff like this, using the wand inside the sword to make it look different, or they all look too similar. So for the handles, what I ended up using is the stuff from Batu, so the lightsaber handles, and putting them on top of the handles of the sword. So you can see here, there's the arrows in that vase, and that is from that other creator from the gallery. It looked so much better than the other way, so I'm so glad I found that, and shout out to that person. So the idea with this build is, I've already created the sim for it. I made a short of it, so my sim is a half human, half elf, and yes, I'm saying half human, half elf. Somebody had a go at me saying, well, they're going to be half human if they're half elf. Well, you could be half alien, half elf, half whatever, half elf. So yeah, it is half human, half elf. Elf. But she lives in the human world and is trying to hide the fact that she is an elf, so she wears things to cover her ears. And if you don't know how to get the pointed ears, she is actually just a spellcaster. We've got to use our imagination a little bit. So yeah, she's a spellcaster to get the pointy ears, and I made sure the hair covers her ears to make it look like she's trying to hide that she is an elf. So I'm working on the magic shop, and this is hidden because I don't want the humans to find it. She will only invite people she wants up here. It is on the top floor. You have to go through her house to get up here, and the house is very tiny, but you go through, and I use the bookshelf door so it looks like it is hidden. and then I created the magic shop. I had such good fun making this magic shop as well. It was like so much fun to add all the movement. If you've seen any of my shorts with my underrated items, one of the biggest things I love in my Sims build is movement, and by that I mean like adding fireflies because they move around, adding rabbits, chickens, again because they move around. It just makes the game come to life a little bit more. So in here I used a lot of potions. I actually used a couple of items from Outdoor Retreat, from the like bugs, because they have like will-o-wisps, and if you size down the little cage that they come in, you will just see the wisp like floating around, and I put them above the familiar orbs from Realm of Magic, and just doing things like that again to add movement. It is very noisy up here if you go into live mode, because there is the Bubbletron going, so you hear the bubbles and a few other things as well. So for this room I predominantly used Realm of Magic. I used the vampires, the paranormal stuff, crystal creations, all of those sort of like magic type ones. I used vampires as well, that was a really good one to use in here. Oh, as well as some Journey to Batsu, there's actually some items that work really well, like the little decor items that have that magical sort of look to them, so I did use some items like that as well. I put a lot of focus into this counter area, cluttering it up as much as I can. I really wanted it to look really cluttered, loads of things in here, but your sim can go behind here. It's technically not a counter that sells anything because it's just set as a residential. You could maybe set this where you have a business on here and sell some of the items, but then it would ruin it and you'd have to put the items back, and that would just be annoying because I placed every item individually using tool mod, because when things snap to the tables and the desks, nothing sits where you want to put it, so I ended up using tool mod. You could do the trick where you move the table and place it, but it's easier to use tool mod because when the table's not there it's really hard to see where you're placing it. So now I'm going down into the room underneath, and I kept things pretty simple. It is a very small house, and like I said, I've used the bookshelves there. One of them isn't functional, but I wanted to make it look like it was a full bookshelf. So even though there's a door on the other side, only one of these works. In the bedroom, there was literally just a bed and those bookshelves and the door into the bathroom, which is just a shower and a toilet. I know a shower isn't very medieval, but I could not fit a bath in this build. So I've just put the university shower in there so it looks quite simple and stripped back. The rest of the house is just a kitchen and a sofa with a couple of bits of art on the wall and a fireplace, of course. So there's not much in here, but I couldn't really fit much in, and I wanted to more detail the shop side of things because that's the exciting part. And I feel like this sim is more focused on her shops than she would be on anything in her home, so we kept everything pretty stripped back. I introduced a few like magic elements into her house. By that I mean just like artwork that is from Realm of Magic and a couple of things from Crystal Creations, just to sort of give hints at that she has something to do with magic, but they are hidden in her house, and hopefully the only people that are coming into our house are going upstairs into the magic shop. So I will be going back up to the magic shop to do like the final touches. I added a central table up there to add potions on, and I ended up using the little name card thing, which I think you have to unlock to make it look like they are labelled. And I've got this little reading nook down the side there, and I used the Crystal Creations shelves, the bookshelves. At the back side, I do change things around over here. I love those bookshelves so much. They just give magical vibes. I don't know if it's because they have like the ladder on there, and I just love the way it looked in the end. And your Sims can get around all of this. It is quite a tight squeeze, but they can indeed. And I wanted to give some height to the table so it wasn't just one flat height, so I ended up using other tables on top of here, and this is why I had to raise things up from the floor and use tool mod, because if I tried to place these on top of the tables they would float because I have sized these little tables down. I wish you could like turn the snapping off to the tables. That would be like the best thing ever, so you could just freely place things on tables and counters. Like, I don't care if they're conflicting with the sim so it can't use it. I'm using it for decor for that reason. Like, I don't want them to be able to use that. I will leave an empty counter if I want them to use it. So off camera as well, I did use tool mod to place more books on the bookshelf that are from Realm of Magic, because I wanted to add more detail, but it took me so long because I had to use tool mod to flip them all up. and do some like leaning books and stuff like that, and I did do even more on the other bookshelf as well. Here I am, I've turned a wand into a staff because I feel like they are a magical item as well. I obviously had to add some wands in here, so I added a few cool coloured ones in there. And then I've added more potions on these tables using sized down tables to again give some more height. So I'm just going around adding the final details, so just some small things, some extra books and details on the wall. But that is pretty much it for this build. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!